All right, D and Davis, the flip. Lucky enough today to be joined by two of the lovely ladies from In the Thick podcast. Heather and Vicky are here with us. We got Heather
Hello.
Prothro, did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes,
And
you did.
young Vicky
Yes, you
Carter
did.
from the large Carter family. Vicky, real quick, you got Run what? What's the? I know it's not Run DMC, but what's in the hoodie? It's
It
Run
is
what?
Run DMC.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
My
No, you
name.
said I apologize.
I know. I mean, it's funny. I'll tell you this real quick. It's an old debate we had, and I had it in my head this morning. D and I. Both our favorite group is Outkast, even though Wu kind of slides in with me, but they bit too big for me. But to me, the greatest group is Run DMC because what they did when they did it, like there was no internet and it was just them and Michael Jackson that was black on MTV. So I apologize because I love Run DMC, but usually it's Run something. So I didn't know if it was respecting the gods or whatnot. Anyway,
I try to give hip hop its play. I love hip hop, so it's like I needed the hoodie.
There you go. That's a sweet hoodie too.
Yes, definitely a sweet hoodie. And I'm Kenneth Davis, and you know my main man, his name is
D Demonspro. What's happening, everybody? Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show. Make sure you hit up the bio links. They can take you to everywhere we are. iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, as you'll see right here. I'm on Twitter and IG at Demons1, DEMONZE1. Ken is on Twitter and IG at That's Davis. Executive producer of the D and Davis Show and everything we do. Ryan Bukoveski. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski. And on IG, Ryan B. Ski 1. Our main man, Sidney Brown, writer for WeAreRiggerRadio.com. He's on Twitter and IG at SidKid80. Heather, throughout y'all socials, where y'all at?
Oh, that was a mouthful.
I've got used to it over the years. It's kind of like second nature.
Right. Well, again, my name is Heather. You can find me on IG at HeadD1680. And In the Thick, you can find us on IG at In the Thick. Also the same on Facebook and Twitter.
All right, Vicky, where everybody follow you?
It's Pretty Sweet V 85
There you go.
on Instagram.
All right.
All right. So we got a whole lot to jump into, even though everything that I sent you, Heather, we are not going to go over on this show.
Okay, I was like, we need time.
No, it's just to make sure in case something is short that we have stuff, and also just to bump around because the real meat of the discussion. I don't know if we should save it for the second or the first.
You know what? You know what?
What do you think?
Save the best for last.
Okay, because we got to make sure we got enough time. So we're going to start off the second show with that one. So we know we got enough time because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of debate because I got some takes on that one.
Yeah, I know you did. Oh, I know that you do. I already knew that, Kenneth.
I've had some hate in my heart for a long time.
I know. I already knew.
My man is out there crazy, man. You need me right now. All right, let me calm down. All right. So let's start off with a little hip hop. Kicking off with Vicky with the dope hoodie. And this one I don't like. Kanye West revealed that he was struck with the chills and he was contracted coronavirus late February. All right, which I don't even really want to get into it, but he heard Drake had it, and he said, I bet Drake didn't have it as bad as he had it.
Wait a minute, hold on. I didn't hear Drake had it.
Man, to be honest with you, I'll tell you all this. There are a lot of people just from inside sources in entertainment and sports that when it cracked open, they had it that didn't tell anybody.
For sure.
Yeah, I heard about a lot of athletes who it still has never come out that they had coronavirus, but people was like, yeah, they had.
But did they know? Did they know?
Yeah, they knew, but
okay.
They knew it was just kept low. No, they didn't reveal it. They didn't reveal it.
Okay. So it wasn't a shock to all of them when Tom Hanks and his wife came out and said that they had it. It wasn't like the shock that it was to all of us. The entertainment industry had already kind of been used to it, maybe?
Well, I think when you think about the fact that how these people interact, let's just say, for instance, let's just say you're Kanye, right? You're running a $1 billion company, right? So you're doing Yeezy designs, you're coming and going, you're interacting, let alone you're making music with different people coming across the country. He's flying from Wyoming back and forth. And let's not forget how bad those airports, as far as being contagious, had to be before we knew that coronavirus was coronavirus.
True,
and then it may take days before you get sick. So, and then as far as athletes, it's the Rudy Gobert situation where I remember seeing athletes on the court playing, coughing in their hand before it became for real. And it was just people didn't take it serious. And I mean, listen, it was brand new. We still like, it's alarming. And I don't know if we'll get into it in this show. Dean Davis to flip with the ladies from the In the Thick pod. I don't know if we'll get into this show, but you saw the article about how they're talking about it can clog the brain. And the thing, when we're starting to see the effects on organs, and I was looking at the news yesterday and was saying that it creates blood clots. It was I don't know if it was a mortician. I think he had a better job than that. He was doing autopsies, and I think he was in Texas.
The medical examiner.
Thank you, Vicky. Mm-hmm. Medical examiner in Texas. And he was talking about how the morgue was too full, basically. But while doing autopsies, he was finding blood clots throughout the body,
which would trigger heart attacks.
Throughout,
or strokes.
Yeah,
strokes.
So
I do know someone who ended up with 2 strokes, amputation of their fingers.
Wow.
And it attacked their kidneys, and now they are on dialysis. So
wow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was in the hospital for 45 days.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, on a ventilator for 30. It was pretty severe.
My buddy, he's lost 2 uncles. No, he lost 1 uncle and 1 cousin. They was both kind of like 50s and 60s in a span of like maybe a month apart. So it's serious out there. But go ahead, Ken. What was the article? I'm sorry.
No,
that's really it.
No, we're gonna get to the meat, but it isn't important. So please tell me about the corona, because
that's what's happening, right?
But Kanye affirmed that he is running for the presidency in 2020, giving credit to God for his decision as well. God just gave me the clarity and said it's time. He said, now it's the time, and we're not gonna go crazy. We're gonna go Yeezy. It's a whole nother level. And although West doesn't have any plans in terms of policy, saying I don't know if I would use the word policy for the way that I'm approaching things, he cited the Wakanda model of management that he hopes
just gets worse.
that he hopes to implement. A lot of Africans do not like the movie Black Panther and the representation of themselves in Wakanda. But I'm gonna use the framework for Wakanda right now because the best explanation was a design group. I'm not going any further because this is crazy. But I guess the question is to all of you, what do you think about Kanye running for president? And also, I guess the more serious threat that people have said about him taking black votes away from Joe Biden.
This is my thing. Okay, I want to say mixed feelings, but I'll try to explain myself. Whoa. I do think if you're an American and you want to run for presidency or any political office, you have the right to do that, right? He has a right to do it. On the other side, this motherfucker is crazy. He should not be.
You shouldn't use that word, D.
Oh, I shouldn't? What, crazy?
Use the word crazy, yeah.
Well, okay, I roll it back. He is of
mentally off balance.
No, I ain't gonna say that. He should not do this right now because I think this particular election is just too sensitive to have any kind of, alterations. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to let this one roll out with the 2 dudes. You might not like them, you might love them. Just let the 2 dudes who's running, right? No, this isn't really the time to play around. And also, too, let's be honest. But how many black folks do y'all think are really going to say, I'm going to go vote for Kanye West? Over all the years, I bet you more black folks would probably go vote for Taylor Swift right now than Kanye West had.
I don't think so, bro.
I don't know.
I don't think so, bro.
You don't think so?
Nah, bro.
I think our fan level is too high. I think that when it comes to like things that, I wouldn't even just say the black community. I think it's certain age groups that would go for it because of the level of fandom for Kanye. Now, we're ignoring the fact that he is an unmedicated person with mental illness. Like, he's already said he's not taking his meds. He's already said that he's just going to live his life. And I'm waiting
is Trump, though.
I mean, touche. And he, that's what I'm saying. Like, he made it in. Like, so I don't put it past people. I was just waiting for him to name drop some vibranium or something. Like, I was waiting.
He got it already.
I got the whole stage back here for you, Paul.
Just like, this is
Yeezanium.
Man.
I think I'm going to disagree with you, Vicky, on it being an age group that would, within the black community that would vote for him. I don't think so, because we all have good sense.
That's what I'm thinking.
We love Kanye for what he's done on the musical side, but past that, the fact that he lost respect for a lot of black people when he married Kim Kardashian.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
so I think that it's just worsened over the last few years, especially when he said that we wanted to be slaves, and that whole controversy a couple years ago. I really do think that Kanye has already lost the black vote. The only thing that we still do is listen to his music. That's it. Other than that, we don't respect him as a people because he's what he's done and what he said.
All right,
I mean, I don't even know if it's
let me jump in for you, Vic. Let me jump in for you, Vic.
No,
don't.
No.
Let me, because this, and it's the thing. This is the only thing that I'll say. I do think that he has lost some black votes, but I still think there are black people and people of a certain age group, and you can see it with the Sunday services, how people came out, because he had already crossed the line, the slavery line then, and people was coming out in droves just to sit there and do that. And some of those people who don't care and be like, whatever, will sit there and throw their vote his way. Now, will it make a huge enough difference? I don't know. And leading to what Dee was saying earlier, this kind of isn't the race for games, but also when he's come out and said that he doesn't care if allegedly said he doesn't care if he takes votes away from Joe Biden, it's just regardless of where his mental state is, his arrogance has always been a pro and a con for him, to say the least. And right now it's a con to me.
Yeah.
But the fact that he is a Trump supporter.
Well, he came out and say he doesn't support him anymore.
That's a lie. Like that. Okay, it's okay to say that now because we're in July and November is around the corner. So I mean, obviously, if he does it, I think it'll be for strategy. Like I don't think that it's because he really wants to do anything for America. Not in my opinion. Not from what he's shown. You know, I mean, really, at the end of the day, no one's gonna do it for us right now. Right. We have Joe Biden and we have Kanye. Like literally, those are our choices. Okay.
I mean, did you say he asked like Joel Osteen to be his running mate?
He did. Now you know what I mean.
Let's
just throw that in the mix.
He said that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Didn't Joel Osteen didn't want the folks down in Houston be in his church when it flood?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So this is okay.
God bless you. Get your ass out of here.
All right. You know, Kanye, we're doing renovations. I don't know if I'll be ready by November.
Oh man. Sid, Ryan, what y'all think?
Here's the thing. Kanye West is just like Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. They're both attention prostitutes. They seek attention because that's what fills up their ego, which fills up their personalities. Yeah. Kanye West, I did not buy this for 1 second. It's a plot for something else. I smell it. This is an old okie doke. I'm not going to fall for it. It's a setup for something else. What is it? We just don't know. So for Kanye to say that, I did not buy it. If you're smart just like us, don't buy it either. It's just a setup for something else.
Right.
I guess I'm just wondering how far he's really going to go. Like, does Sid have a point where this is just a cover up for some other thing? Because, like, you know, is he really going to spend a ton of money trying to build his campaign? And, you know, and does he have a campaign manager? Is he going to try to get into some debates? Is he going to try to do anything to let people know what he's about and what his policies might be, even though he said he's not going to do any policies? So I guess my thing is just, is it even feasible that he could even be running? Like, can people, because I agree that there are a section of people that will vote for him based on that show, based on his fame, based on, you know, the Kardashian name and all that stuff. But I just don't know if it's going to be significant enough that it'll make enough of an impact to take away from the election. But it could, depending on how far he goes and how campaigny he will be and how many people like really actually start saying, you know what, forget Trump Biden, I'd rather have Kanye.
I think that his arrogance, you know, to Ken's point, he's going to run regardless. You know what I mean? And even if it is a ploy, he doesn't care. Whether he wins or whether he loses, it doesn't matter. It's a thrill for him. Yeah. He likes controversy.
And I think that's what Donald Trump was first trying to go into, but the Republican Party kind of snatched him in. Also, too, we got to think about this. He's probably not going to be on the ballot. The Democrats and Republicans are not going to let him be on the ballot because
the Republicans may let him be on the ballot.
Well, also, too, I was going to say this.
For shits and giggles.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, yeah, come on. But the parties got so much influence on who gets on the ballot. It's crazy, right? Also, too, it wouldn't shock me he's not. I don't think he's going to be on the ballot. It's going to be all like write my name in kind of.
Right.
That's the only way I think he will be able to garner any votes. Some people vote for Mickey Mouse. Hell, yeah, I agree with you, Vicky, you and Ken. Somebody will write his name in. I just don't think he's going to be able to really get on the ballots across all 50 states and be able to like actually garner a real campaign. I think it's more so kind of like, doesn't he have an album coming out with Dr. Dre or something like that? Like the Jesus is King Part 2? This is all probably just set up to see his point. It's probably just set up for an album release. So
let's just say, for argument's sake, that Kanye is serious about this. What states can he take from Trump and or Biden? Really? I guarantee you this, even though he lived here in Chicago in the state of Illinois, he's not going to win Illinois. What states can he take?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think he cares. I think it's just let me just throw it out there. Just what I want to do.
Exactly. Yeah. Facts.
All right. So this weekend, 50 Cent made an appearance on Lil Wayne's Beats One Young Money radio show. During their conversation, 50 made remarks about angry black women who are mad at men who like exotic girls. They mad, they get angry, 50 said. You see a lot of sisters go fuck with this kind of girl and this kind of girl. That shit is exotic. That shit look like that shit look different than that shit you see in the neighborhood all the time. That shit look like it came off a boat.
God, nigga, damn. You came off a boat.
50. What the hell?
If you saw the live, if you saw the segment that I saw on social media, first of all, I don't even understand why Lil Wayne has a show, because like, what's his Lil Wayne brain?
Everybody has a show.
Yeah, look at us. But,
I was just thinking that Ryan Goodwin.
But it's just sad that it's sad, man, that brothers feel like that about sisters. Just me, for me personally, I don't really care. I mean, my preference is sisters. But I don't care who you go with, especially as long as that person loves black people. Now, if you were somebody and they hate us, then fuck you, basically. Yeah. All right. So that's really, because it's like, that's not my business. Do you? All right. But I mean, again, I'm with the chocolate. If you see any of my icky, people don't have icky collections, meaning porno. Listen, what did you call it? This was like, yeah, that was what
I never heard icky
collection. Yeah, that's what we used to call it. That's what we used to call it back in the day. Real quick. I'm gonna show y'all something really fast.
No,
so if I go
on your phone,
no. If I go, let me turn my phone screen down. I made this comment to Afton like a week or so ago. Like, man, if you saw my Instagram. So if you can see my Instagram feed and I scroll up, all you really gonna see
in black women
is black women on my
right.
It's black. It is black as you know what.
Well, I did see Bill 9.
What's Bill 9?
I like science too.
I like that exotic science.
Off the boat science.
That off the boat science.
But I'm just saying, now that's my love or whatever. But it's sad to hear. It's sad when you hear brothers put that out there, because it reaffirms bullshit in my comparison. It also just goes to the bad relationships that he's been in. We know him and his OG didn't get along. His mom didn't get along.
Right.
And I think you see that a lot with some people where they kind of break away. But again, I'm being a couch psychologist.
Yeah. Heather,
I don't think that it only comes from people who break away. I just think that they've got these certain ideals, right, on what beauty is, right? And it's sad. It's really sad, because he wouldn't be here clearly without a black woman. He's clearly a black man, you know? So for you to say, first of all, what does that mean? They look like they come from the neighborhood. Like, what does that mean? Is he talking about the weave? Is he talking about, you know, I'm confused on that one. So maybe you guys can kind of clear that up, because first of all women do not wear weave.
I was gonna say that too, D.
No. Not all women. No. Not all women.
They all wear.
No. Not all.
You're not exotic apples.
No, not all women. I'm saying all races of women do wear weave.
Okay.
I see a lot of white women that wear weave. You know what I'm saying? It's not just black women. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Ken is tickled.
When a white woman has a weave, that's a piece.
No.
Oh, no.
I'm joking. No. I am joking.
You know, it goes back to we had Nine Mag on our pod a few weeks ago. And we were really talking about almost like the same thing, right, Vicky, where this almost goes into Black women not being protected. You know what I mean? Like, this is an extension of that. His comment is clearly an extension of another man not protecting us.
For sure. And also, in addition, he already looks at women as objects. So the thing is that, like, he was purely talking about women in a, like, I like this object versus this object context.
Right.
And so, I mean, you know, I took a couple moments to watch it, and I was like, first of all, this is laughable. Second of all, I mean, even in how he was just referring to women in general, like, how many times are you gonna call us motherfuckers? Like, I don't understand, like,
we're not gonna be too many more, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the clip is only 2 minutes long. And he says it like constantly, just kind of like it's his objectification of women. And to be honest, 50's always been known to be like that. To kind of look at women as like, well, I've acquired this one, I've acquired that one. Now he's like, well, I'm into exotic women. And to say that like Black women are mad, like, I don't think that's fair. I mean, he dumbed it down to, you know, you got regular weave here, and that's some exotic stuff I've never seen before. Like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole thing was just a mess. And the sad part was, the people who really took it personal was people connected to Lil Wayne. You know, they were kind of like Lil Wayne, like kind of like co-signed. And the people who were commenting on social media was like people like his daughter, people who used to date Lil Wayne, you know, all supporting it. Like, Reginae was like, well, I'm beautiful, I'm exotic, I know that I'm a queen. And the people who have dated him supported her and was like, yes, you are, and like all these other kind of things. Because Lil Wayne was kind of like, yeah, I love the exotic too. You know, so I just think that neither one of them really took it seriously. And it was just kind of like, well, these are the objects that I like. And then the aftermath was like, well, wait a minute, like, these aren't the people in your circle. You know, and then even Vivica Fox commented at 50 Cent.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say they dated for a very long time, right?
And now he's saying that he only dated her for 4 months, and she still scorned. Exactly. They were together for years. Like, all right, you weren't saying that then. You know what I mean? Like,
and Vivica Fox was like, he's a clown. Y'all know he's a clown.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, these two guys, you can't take either one of them serious based off the things that they've said. Okay, everybody like 50 because of power and the TV shows. That's probably the depth that's as much, or you like some of his old music. Keep it at that base level. Don't go any deeper into anything neither one of them say. So, I mean, this is the simple fact of just objectifying women like that. Like, yeah, guys like women, and for the most part, guys like all kind of women. But it's no way in hell that you say, like, you denigrate Black women. You denigrate anybody. How about that? Don't denigrate anybody. Keep everybody up on a good pedestal in a sense. Just don't denigrate anybody. If you say you like somebody, go ahead. That's cool. You're in America. It's kind of crazy to think that you probably won't have interracial marriages. Some shit. We've been here for 400 years together. Eventually, somebody will be like, yeah, I kind of like you too. So I think it's going to happen. But just don't listen to them too. Just listen to their music every once in a while or watch their TV shows. That's it.
I just think it's trash because people in the regular world take their opinions and be like, that's what I'm about to do too.
For facts, right.
That's what I have a problem with.
Yeah.
Because now you got all these like regular Joe Schmoes out here trying to find like people from, let me find me somebody from all the exotic parts of the world. Not saying you can't, but why is that like the only person you interested in? Right, and it's because you're listening to the voices of other people.
Yeah, very true. Vicky.
I'll piggybacking on something that Heather said. Listen, they can have sex and party and have relationships with whoever they want to. That's their business. But when you throw down and denigrate sisters, that's the big problem. And why is that always vogue for like the last 30 or 40 years for the most part? When Black men weren't allowed to have exotic women. You know what I'm saying?
At all.
You know, like if your ass is gonna be strange fruit dangling
Yep.
basically, you know. And now, listen, I guess that now I'm about to convolute some stuff, but going back to being able to go down the street to Mr. Harold's drink shop, and then when they let me go downtown, his shop closed. Sometimes it's the same way that these Negroes treat sisters, which that's the part. And listen, again, date who you want, but you should always protect sisters. I think it's our strongest resource has been Black women. So for me, it's like, nah, bro. Like, it's just, I'm really against those type of actions. You don't have to talk down on sisters. You don't have to date sisters. You don't have to talk down on sisters.
Exactly.
You.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can have your preference, but just don't denigrate anybody.
Thank you.
Well, but here's a question. Here's a quick question. So we know, I believe that Black women are the driving force in American culture, as far as like economics, everything. Black women saved Joe Biden ass. Yeah, I'm real. Black women put in a Democratic senator in Alabama. So, do we think that Black women are going to, I ain't gonna say turn on him, but yeah, hell, fuck it, yeah, turn on him? Or this is kind of like, you know what? I'm not supporting anything else you do. I'm not watching Power. I'm not watching Power Book or Two. I'm not watching your show on ABC that my missus liked. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what? Stop it. What do you all think about that?
I don't think it'll change, and that's the problem.
Okay.
I think that he'll still have the silent supporters, right? You know, on one hand, people will be angry, you know, Black women, that these are his feelings, right? But then on another hand, people are still going to watch Power, right? People are still going to watch that, whatever that show's called, like you said, on Channel 7. Yeah, on ABC, right. They're still going to do it. You know, I myself, I can admit I've never seen an episode of Power ever. And I've never seen an episode of that other one, you know, just because I just wasn't interested, you know. But I haven't been a 50 supporter in a long time, because the things that he says, he's unapologetic about everything that he says. It's like, let the chips fall where they may. Like, that's his mentality, right? He doesn't care about starting a fire because he's 50. Because that's not going to affect his money. And that's what he's about. He's about his money. So my comments are not going to affect my money. You know, but what he doesn't realize is that all those exotic women are probably only with him because of his money
and his name. Absolutely.
Exactly. It's not like because he's attractive. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not because of that. It's because of his status, so he can ride out.
Then
Vicky,
there's the flip.
I'm sorry.
We got the ladies from In the Thick Pot with us. Yeah, Vicky, you got something else you want to say about this?
Yeah. I know for me, I mean, I canceled 50 a long time for me personally. Now I did watch For Life, but that was because I was interested in who the show is about. He produced it, but it's based off of a true story.
Right.
So I was fascinated with that. But personally, in regards to like music, Power, all that kind of stuff, I personally haven't supported him for a long time because he's felt that way for a long time. I feel like because he's always kind of made those kind of arguments, it won't change because this isn't shocking currently. You know, he's been saying this for decades almost at this point. You know, so now it's almost like, I don't even expect you to support us. You know what I mean? So I think that that's why it wouldn't change or have like a strong impact in regards to who watches what.
Yeah, just the simple fact of how much he just doesn't care. When you see, at least in my opinion, the strongest supporters for Power or watchers are Black women. I mean, shit, from my missus to my grandmother, they love that show. And you think you turn around and then say something like this about Black women. It's like, dude, what are you thinking? Like, but yeah, he doesn't care. I was going to say, Heather, you're right. He just doesn't care. Yeah.
He feels like he's going to get paid regardless.
Exactly.
Right.
All right. This one will have to be quick. With stage production of the mega popular Hamilton play now streaming on Disney Plus, there's a fresh effort to look the musical's portrayal of the founding fathers and their complicated history of slavery, especially now with Black Lives Matter being such a large part of the national conversation, and more eyes on Hamilton than ever before. And also, this is from USA Today. Hamilton creator Lin-Miranda even admitted that all the criticisms are valid on Twitter Monday. The sheer tonnage of complexities and the fallings of these people I couldn't get or wrestle with, but cut. I took 6 years and it fit much as I could in a 2.5-hour musical. I did my best. It's all fair games. Miranda's tweet in response to a series of disses by writer Tracy Clayton, host of Netflix Strong Black Legends podcast, saying he appreciated so much of Clayton that he was given a nuanced, conflicted political environment that Hamilton lands in today. She pointed out the Hamilton play, which premiered in 2015 during the Obama administration. The new movie we're giving us is two different worlds, and then called The Willingness to Debate and Clear Sign of Change. Now, it's funny. I watched Hamilton last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm. And me too.
Yeah, but the next day, I sat down and I said, you know what? He did that so well that I stopped thinking about the slavery. Right? It's like
you get immersed into the
but also it's because of the diversity. Mm-hmm. It's actually, I hate to say it, and I don't know if Lin Miranda did it. I don't think he did it. Lin Miranda doesn't seem like a sneak thief like that. But the diversity makes you forget the racism, since you have a black man playing Burr and a black man playing, playing Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and George Washington. And so when you see that, it kind of you don't think about it as much. But the next day, I was like, wait, I was just watching some racist shit.
Well, you watching some racist people, yeah.
I love it, right? I was like, because it was fantastic. It was great. But the next day, I was conflicted because I was like, man, he kind of sugarcoated, not intentionally, but it's done so well. And I know they mentioned slavery in the rap battles and stuff, but it's done so well. It kind of, let me speak for me. It kind of diverted me away from, wow, these people are owning slaves and they're out here debating and doing all this. And usually that type of stuff, it riles me up. But Lin Miranda, man, he got one over on me. I'll say that much.
I saw it live. I didn't see the original cast, but I saw it live here in Chicago. And I'm not a musical dude by no means, but my two favorite musicals, this is wild, is Wicked and Hamilton. Okay. I loved Wicked. It was unbelievable. But I do understand where you're coming from, Ken. We both students of history. We both like history, avid History Channel watchers and things like that. We can sit and talk about it all the time. But I will say this. I think at least Lin he acknowledges the complexity. The issue is when people turn around and say like, oh, you know what, that was just the times, and they just, saying that was just what was happening. Or
that's what we did back then.
Yeah, that's what we did back then. Or Civil War, no, that was about some state rights. That wasn't about no slavery.
Oh, right.
But because he's coming from he's Puerto Rican, so he's coming from a position of knowing what the struggle is and knowing what bigotry is and racism. He mentioned Sally Hemings in it, as you said, Ken. They mentioned about slavery and things like that. So he brought to you just the history, but at least he understands. Yeah, this is some slave owners. This is some complex shit. At least he's willing to give you that. I wouldn't say go as far as saying people like, oh, we should cancel it. No, this shit is just too
I don't think that's what he was doing at all.
Yeah.
I think he was I think he was trying to sweeten it a little bit for us because he is a person of color. He's not black, but he is Puerto Rican, so he's close enough that he understands, right? And I think that to put that spin on it, that was genius. I think if Hamilton was written and directed by a white person, we'd have a completely different feeling.
Right.
If you use all the same characters, you use all the same actors, we'd we'd almost be enraged if a white person did it. So I think he was smart in what he did.
Vicky?
And you also got to remember too, in the Broadway world, is not very diversified. So part of the point of creating a cast like this was to give opportunity to so many people of color. That being said, though, I do kind of agree, Ken. Like when I was watching it, I almost was like reading the story at the same time of watching it because I needed to remember that they weren't the actual color of the characters. So I needed to know who played what. Like I was like, man, because I love history personally too. And it was like, I needed to make sure I kept up because if you're just looking at it as just like a viewer, you just be interested in like the lights and the rap and the dance and the, like who's your favorite, you know what I mean? Yeah. I do think that it was so important to me though, that it was diversified in that way because there's so few opportunities in Broadway for leading roles for people of color.
Yeah. Good facts. Look, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Den Davis to Flip with the In the Thick podcast. Den Davis to Flip We're lucky enough to have two of the three hosts from In the Thick Pod, Heather Prothro and Vicky Carter, with us right now. We got to get into this fire. First of all, it's none of our business. Let me leave with this. It's none of our business.
But they made it our business.
So why we going to be messy? Let's be messy. All right. So Jada Pinkett-Smith says she had a romantic relationship with singer, this is from People, singer August Alsina, while she and Will Smith were going through a temporary separation. The actress dedicated an entire episode of her Facebook Watch the Red Table to discuss Alsina's allegations that they had a romance, and she was joined by Will Smith on yesterday's episode, Friday. One of the reasons I wanted to come to the table, the media, the headlines were specifically never said anything. We specifically never said anything, Smith said. And as his wife sat across from him, we were purposely never saying anything. We specifically never said anything coming to this table. We just felt it was going to be the point where we got to say something. 4.5 years ago, I started a friendship with August Alsina. This is Jada Pinkett-Smith speaking. And we actually became really, really good friends. She continued. And as it all started with him just needing some help and me wanting to help him and with his mental state. The mother of two said that the singer was really sick when she and Smith first met him through their son, Jaden. You and I were going through a difficult time. This is Jada talking to Will Smith about their relationship at that time and the state of their marriage. Will Smith replied, I was done with you. Well, let me put it for him. I was done with your ass, right?
Yeah.
We broke up, she said, clarifying, we decided that we were going to be separate for a time period. And then what did you do, Jada? So funny. From there, as the time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August Alsina. One thing I want to clean up about you giving him permission, which basically she said that Will Smith didn't give him permission. And basically, I think most of us watched it. So there's no reason for me to give you a word for word watching it. Let me lead off with this. So when the August Alsina thing came out, right?
And he's a singer, right? Is that what?
He sang and rap. He sang mostly. But when he first came out, he rapped a little bit more or whatever.
Okay.
And first of all, let me go all the way back. No, let me start with it. So when I saw the interview, when I first started seeing it, I guess the night before, I didn't see it till that morning, but I saw people posting, and I'm like, what is this about? And I'm like, motherfucker, I knew this shit was gonna happen. So, of course, watched the interview with him and Angela from The Breakfast Club. When they first started showing pictures of him and Jada Pinkett years back with the filters around their head, I said then, what the fuck is you doing, Jada? In my head, right? Because this is only gonna end in one way. He's August Alsina. This is his trump card. This boy got a fleeting career. He's gonna listen, he may pull this out 10 years later. He's pulling this card out. You shouldn't mess with people like that. All right. Some Negroes shouldn't be messed with when you're at a certain level. Let me say that.
Yes, very true.
Especially when you're with Will Smith, damn it. So then my reaction was this.
It was a poor choice.
Yes. Yeah. And I was just like, black people can't have nothing. We knew they had an open relationship. We didn't want to know how the hot dogs were being made. All right. At this period of time, it's good to sit there and know. I mean, it's a rant. Let me get this rant off real quick. I'm gonna stop in a second. So
you've been very passionate about this for a very long time.
Yes,
because I like Will Smith.
I do too.
That black people and black males don't have enough role models, quote unquote. And I'm not somebody that I need a role model, but I think he's a good dude.
He is.
All right, and he doesn't deserve this shit. So, and I don't care. I get it. He did some shit too. His jump offs ain't none of his jump offs ever disrespected the house.
Because they were being paid. Because he
knew. Listen, like that kid play August Alsina. He knew who could jump off. You don't jump off with everybody. You got to know who you can jump off with. All right, this is my last part. Then you can go, Heather. So me and D was in school. At ICB, not IMS. I got into an argument with some ladies in the class because I said, Will Smith really didn't need Jada Pinkett-Smith. And I wasn't saying it like I don't like her. I enjoyed her in a different world growing up and all that. But I was just making the point that he was never looked at, quote unquote, as a sellout. He had already married a black woman. So my point was, I think any person Will Smith was going to marry, it was going to benefit them. You know what I'm saying? Like it was going to create a platform for you regardless. And that was really my point. It just didn't have to be her. And their argument was that, no, she redefined him and all this and all that. So we were going back and forth. And I'm like, no, as long as he would have basically, and I hate to say this as far as you should be able to marry whoever, as long as he would have married another sister, we wouldn't have it. It wouldn't have been a problem. We were straight. Like, all right, cool. She could have not even been an actress. Be like, oh, it's Savannah. It's LeBron's wife. I'm not saying LeBron's wife, but you get my point. You know, it's that. So again, it aggravated me because to watch that and to see him, you could tell he'd been crying all morning through the night.
Eyes was bloodshot red.
If she had on the wig, he would have snatched that motherfucker off.
Oh God!
Right? And it's the problem is, and again, this is my point with her. She believes they on the same platform, and it wasn't the platform that he created. I'm gonna cross the line. Can I have this realize that deep?
Go ahead.
You don't ever ask permission, so
I know, right?
Let me ask my partner.
Go ahead, partner.
Stay in your motherfucking place.
Stay in your place.
Stay in your place. This has nothing to do with her. This has to do with unless he's married to Beyonce. I mean, do you know how big you got to be that where you is looking at Will Smith? Like, Will Smith is fucking huge, right? I mean, and again, I'm wrong. I'm dead wrong because in a relationship, it's a partnership, and it shouldn't be like that. I'm being facetious, but still, I'm being for real, and that's it. You can go right ahead. I give the floor to you.
Heather, go ahead.
I mean, so Ken, you're pretty valid. You're pretty accurate in what you're saying because a number of people think the same way you do, right? Will Smith probably, we know. Will Smith probably thinks the same way you do. So I'm sure that all of his tears weren't because his wife cheated on him or because she had an entanglement, as she termed it, with someone when they were supposedly separated, however, still living in the same home. She was on her side of the house doing whatever. He was on his side of the house doing whatever.
Man.
But it's like never the two shall meet. And unfortunately, August said, damn all that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not saying he was wrong. I'm saying he was an opportunist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he took that opportunity. And even though she's not on the same level as Will, by far, she'll never be. But the attraction that men have, right, at any age to an older woman who is still, from all accounts, very sexy, right?
Yes, she is.
Jada
keeps herself together, right? That's a fantasy for men.
Mm-hmm.
To have someone who's at least 10 years plus older than them, that's like, okay, basically you kind of stepped up. Yeah, he should have done that because she should have known better. So I don't fault August at all. I don't fault August at all. I'm just saying that he took the opportunity and he rode with it. And Jada, you kind of look silly now because you should know better. You should have known how to take care of your situation a little bit more so that this would not have happened. And I think that's probably part of Will's frustration is we've kept this so tight for so many years.
Right.
And even though we said that we had an open relationship, no one could ever point anything to us because we kept it together. And she was just sloppy. That's what it was.
I don't know. I feel like August was. Like, I cannot...
No. Because he's crazy.
He didn't have nothing to lose.
Crazy
he didn't have
anything. Can't be sloppy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let Vicky go. Okay.
Vicky, go, Vicky.
So for one, I had to watch the interview too with August because I just had to see how he played the card. So like for one, my thing is this. If you know you on the side, just be okay with that. Don't try to use the card to promote an album that nobody's gonna care about. Don't try to get like emotional support because that's what he did. First of all, the interview was terrible until that moment.
Was it on the Breakfast Club? I didn't see.
They played it on the Breakfast Club, but it was
just for Angela.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So for one, the interview was struggling. Okay, because August got some problems. So then, you know what I'm saying? He pulls out this trump card and then he makes like all these like vast comments. Like, I mean, I loved her and it almost took me out.
It did take me out. It killed me.
I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't respect that. I can't respect you trying to like out a situation years from when it happened. You know what I'm saying? just so your album could do a little better and your interview could go a little better. I mean, I just.
And it seems
I like
like
the old schoolness from Vicky. Putting it on the side to know his responsibility.
No, that's fact. That's law
That's
right
facts,
there.
though.
That's
But
law.
it's
That's
it's
law.
not even old school. It's even the thing that happens current day,
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
If you choose, if that's the
Oh.
life that you choose, you be the best that you can be
Come
at
on.
it.
Exactly.
Come
Your
on.
mouth shut.
If you're a Hollywood side, what do you expect? To spill the beans or not spill the beans?
Even if you're
In today's world.
a little common side, like you should almost know.
Yeah,
right?
dude.
In
Like,
my-
You know
I
what
don't
it
know.
is.
play your position.
I just say like
That's
this.
all I'm
Okay,
saying.
so they got a 20-year age gap. So he's 27 and she's 48, right? So Jada, as we always say, Jada Pinkett is bad, right? All right, so you actually was able to be her side piece. Bruh, it's Jada Pinkett. Be the side piece if that's what you're gonna be. As we just said, be the best side piece you can be. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You got Jada.
He's a jilted lover.
He
doesn't
is.
have her anymore.
He is.
Now,
Now,
he did say too,
What'd
is
he say?
that he really thought. So he said it but didn't say it. I personally feel like August thought he was gonna replace Will.
Yeah.
oh hell no.
How?
He did.
So-
He did. He got
He's
mad.
like-
He got mad when she told him, no, it ain't never happening, basically.
Oh
You
shit.
can tell that's what happened. Go ahead, Vic.
Because even Jada was like, well, when he realized what was happening between us, he decided not to speak to me completely, and I was cool with that.
Mhm.
That's what she even said.
Damn.
And it felt like he tried
Mhm.
to upgrade himself and got upset.
With Will's dime.
Thank you.
It is
And
He ain't been working.
that's the audacity.
Boy,
of it
this
all,
house
right?
is lovely. I'd love to just move in and replace Will.
But Ryan, you would be content as the side piece.
Yeah,
You would just you
I
would be
would,
content
but I'm a
because you would
bigger
be
side
taking-
than most.
Hey now.
All right, Ryan Bukowski.
I was
Yeah.
not expecting that.
Okay, wait a minute. So when I watched it, this is what I got out of it. Oh man, y'all put some more in my head, much more in my head. But the only thing I got from it, I was like, okay, listen, their marriage is going through a rocky point. They decided
Which relationships happen?
which they do. Even if they had an open relationship, but not whatever. Okay, fine. They marriage is going through a rocky point. They decided to split. She stepped out. She had her some fun. I'm sure Will Smith stepped out and had him some fun
Don't you
because
disrespect him.
no, because she
There's no
said
proof of that.
Well, she-
No proof of that. There's no proof of that.
they basically said it on the interview. She was like, "Well, I was going to get you back." She's like,
He was
"Oh
just
yeah,
humoring
I
her.
know
D, you should know this.
Humor my ass. Humor my ass. He got him some on the side too. He got his side pieces too. They
He's
basically
Will Smith. That's why he gets some on the
You
side.
tell him, Sydney. You tell him.
Hey, he Will Smith. He Will Smith. I mean, hey,
I'm
we
Will
up.
Smith, damn it. I gave Will the woman I want.
Hey, and he can. And he
I'm the
can.
Fresh Prince, remember that.
Remember that.
Remember that.
Grammys, baby, before the blockbuster movie.
I got the first hip hop Grammy, not no damn
Come
Run
on,
DMC.
man.
It was
He
me.
ain't regular.
Wait a minute. So they both acknowledged that they both stepped out. As you all give me more context, 'cause I didn't hear the interview with Angelia in August. He thought that he was gonna replace Will, dumbass. But they basically came back together. Like, all right, listen, your man's out there tripping. I know what you did. You know what I did. Let's go ahead and brush it off. We're gonna go ahead and move forward. So, which happens in a lot of marriages. You have
For
rocky
less.
Points, yeah.
For less, okay.
For a whole lot less. For a whole lot less.
Yeah.
You could be messing around. You can mess around with Tyrone around the corner or such and such down the street, and it's like, all right, I guess we get back together. I mean, they didn't have to do this, but in all honesty, and this happens in a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages. You break up, you do whatever's in the middle, you kind of come to an understanding of what happened, and then you move forward. That was what I got out of it. Now, like I said, y'all giving me a whole bunch more context, and I know old boy thought he was gonna come in and replace him.
Yeah, he's the person that broke it off. He
I know,
said that, and then she confirmed it.
Right.
But see, that's one thing to me is this. So what? You still gonna be messing with this dude?
Well, yeah, because at that point, she's already in it, you know.
And Will Smith said he wasn't gonna talk to her no more. She's like,
Exactly.
you lucky I'm
Like
here. It's like they were
that's what I'm
split.
saying.
But I'm just saying when they were starting to come back together. So if August Alsina, just hypothetically speaking, didn't cut off that entanglement, if he didn't cut that
I
off,
love that word.
and they were still, and here, Will and Jada came back together because he said in that interview they weren't romantically involved anymore, right? They were just life partners. So at one point, I guess we're supposed to be under the assumption that they became romantic again towards one another. I don't know, maybe not. But my question is, so if August didn't walk away, you still, one, with her and Will got back together, or two, with they got back together with August still playing the side position, which, again, if that's what...
Will wouldn't let that one go. No.
Man.
But it's
Go ahead,
no, I don't know if Will would have let it go, but I think that's probably something that she was, maybe this is how I thought about it. Well, let me see what you're gonna do for real. I'm not gonna lose out completely because you've been doing this for years. She was the only one who was messy. You know what I mean? That's the only way that we can fault Jada right now. We can't fault her for anything else but not taking care of her situation the way that she should have. We can't fault her for sleeping with another man when her man's been sleeping with other women and when they knew this about each other. So I think that, again, if she and Will were going to get back together, of course they're not going to trust each other completely.
I got another fault. She chose August Alsina.
I know.
I think that's the biggest fault out of it. It's a lot of young, respectable dick out there that wouldn't have done this type of shit.
Wait a minute, right? Is he friends with Jaden?
Yeah, that's how they met. Or they met him through the kids. Willow and they met him through the kids.
Damn.
He up in the house. He up in the house like, I'm sick. And then she right here. He like you little sneaky bastard, you.
Damn.
Like she was a mama figure, and then you stop fucking her. Okay, you motherfucker, you. Ooh, you motherfucker, you. Oh my God, Will Smith should not have been put in this situation. That's what.
At the end of the day, they're all adults.
Yeah, that's true.
Let adults be adults.
I'm joking.
They're not, for sure. They're not going to get divorced. And this is just a lesson to anyone else.
You don't think they're going to get a divorce?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's going to be right away, but I put it like this. I think that clock started ticking yesterday.
You think so? By looking at Will?
Because think about it. Because now, if they break up, it's not on him. We all go back to this and be like, this the shit that fucked them up. It's not just because the story. Remember, they always like, if we get divorced, it's gonna be messy. Which still is to say it could be. Right. But if anything that happens moving forward, unless when we're talking about getting revenge and he actually does something public, which why would he mess with that Fresh Prince dope, right? Mm-hmm. But I looked at that yesterday. And I was like, you know what? This could have been the straw that broke the camel's back right here. That
this is probably a good thing for him too, though, because remember when he said, I'm getting rid of your ass or something, whatever he said.
I was done with you.
He was done with her. You know, I think sometimes after so many years, I'm not saying this is not a right or wrong statement that I'm making, is that some couples just lose that thing for each other, you know, and this may be a case of them they don't have that thing anymore, you know, and sometimes you do need an excuse or a reason, you know, to say, you know what, I'm good on this. I'm not condoning, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I'm saying that with a lot of people, when you don't know how else to leave, you do need a reason to leave.
Yeah.
That's for sure. True. I do think that, though, it did feel to me that this was something they had already worked through. So I do think that because they're in an open relationship, I think they had already kind of unpacked this, and this was kind of just regurgitating what happened before. Yeah. So to me, I really didn't get that vibe. I didn't get the well, I'm about to be out vibe. It was more so hear us having to deal with this again kind of vibe, because they kind of settled in what their roles are going to be to each other, whatever those things are. You know, and they kind of did have to address it because August mentioned Jada and Will. I mean, you know, he was you know, Will gave me his blessing to be with her and all this other kind of stuff. Damn. So he kind of had to join in the conversation. So
you got to pay for somebody to go kick his ass.
You know, I just think that we have to remember that they're celebrities. They're entertainers. They're actors. They're only going to tell us what they want us to know.
Oh, totally.
They can spin this.
That was spin right there.
Right. Yeah. They can spin this however they want to spin it. Yeah. None of this could be true, or all of it could be true. We don't know.
I think August knocked it. I think he hit it. I think
we all know that.
So. I think so. No, I think that's the part that's definitely true.
But I think they would have been hell no if he had it.
No, that's the part that's definitely true. But I think that all this other stuff, I mean, Will can manufacture tears in a minute. Right?
Facts.
Yeah.
You know, so
Facts.
I don't know. I'm not completely sold on it. And I was reading a lot of people on Facebook yesterday saying, oh, how they respect the Smith marriage so much and they believe in it. How do you know? How are
Right.
you going to respect them? You don't
Right.
know what's happening behind closed doors. And what do you
Facts.
respect about it? The fact that they're in an open marriage?
Right.
Like, what else is there?
Yeah,
Well,
we just don't know.
So this is one thing, and this is me talking about the divorce thing. I don't think they're about to get a divorce. I just think that it could be down the line that they may separate or whatever. But I'll say this too, again to Vicky, what you were just saying. Yeah, I think they had handled this and gotten over it. But me getting over some shit in the house is different than motherfuckers, everybody out in the world knowing about this shit. This shit was supposed to sit. No, not facts. It wasn't facts then. It was like, hey, that seemed like
an interview.
Yeah, but until he dropped the foul, it's like y'all dropping fouls like that in the streets. And if I was there, I wouldn't even have done that. Listen, I love Will Smith so much, I wouldn't even taken that motherfucking interview. I'd be like, August, you can go across the street with that shit, buddy. I don't care how much popularity it would have brought me. I'm fine off of that one, all right? You don't have to. There's some black stuff you just gotta leave alone, all right? And this was one of them.
Let it be black. Right?
Yeah, just let it be, damn it. Black lives matter.
Obviously, they understood that they had to get out in front of it in a sense because of the interview. I mean, she has a reputation to uphold. You know, definitely Will is not in the wrong in this situation, but he has a reputation to uphold. They've kind of built this empire of them two being together. So, you know, they got to keep it going. I mean, listen, I don't know if they could have got up off that table and went their separate ways and never talked to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, Heather, like you said, yes, they are actors. They acted the hell out of it. If they did, talking about we've been together for 25 years, we ride or die, we doing this, you know. We have a new word in the lexicon, entanglement. Is that what she said? Entanglement?
He said entanglement.
There you go. It's an entanglement. It's the simple fact that she wouldn't even say like, yeah, I messed around. It's like, oh, it's an entanglement. It's like, damn, this is some pimp shit right here. She ain't let nothing go. She like, no, buddy, no. One of my hoes got a line, but this got to take care of this right here. So, I mean, listen, if they're happy, that's the only thing that matters. If they got past this, they didn't get past it.
I ain't worried about they. I'm worried about he. All right, and that's the fucking fresh. I don't give a fuck about August Alsina. Will Smith. I don't give a fuck about no August. Listen,
Will is fine. Will is fine.
Listen, you know Jazzy Jeff had to call him up like, man, you all right? Ain't nothing worse than your boy having to call you up over some shit that's all in the streets to be like, man, you all right, man? And he be like, she on that shit again. I know how she be. You know how she be, man. Like, man, nobody need this shit. Dying right now from COVID. Right.
I think
these motherfuckers got knees on their necks and shit, and you out here fucking around them. We need this shit right now, man.
But this was wait a minute. But this was years ago, as they say. Right?
August, all right.
Right. It was in the past. He didn't need to bring it in.
He didn't need to. Dog, you know how many secrets is gonna die with me? All right.
Facts.
You know how? Listen, I've been a side piece of time or two in my life.
Who hasn't?
I ain't never went. Listen, I got so locked into the side piece, I couldn't even get a woman. I said, nobody wants to be with me. I'm just a side piece right now. That's how bad it was in my early 20s, man. Look, I wanted to be a side piece. Got into a side piece land. It was like, damn, I can't lock up nothing right now, right?
They pigeonholed you, huh? They typecast you. The girls typecast you.
Yeah, and I ain't never went out in the streets and said a damn thing about it. All right?
Side pieces of America.
Right, stand up.
That's what you were doing, kid.
The fuck is going on, man?
Oh, you know, Ken only but a side piece. That's all he is. Oh, that's right, girl. Yeah, he's just side piece material. Oh,
We'll
man.
get you a shirt too. It's okay. We gonna get you a T-shirt too.
Okay.
We'll get you a T-shirt for Side Pieces of America.
I've been a side piece. I never went and asked for no dude's permission. All right. It was never any movement like that. I never put that young lady out there in a manner that she didn't deserve.
Oh, man.
Like,
you think Will lit some candles when he was asking for his permission? Really set the mood and everything like that?
He's Will Smith.
Yeah.
He don't have to ask for permission. He's gonna tell you what he wants. Period.
It was the way it happened, man. Like August was like, I'm telling you, Will. He was like,
I gotta go hear this interview.
I think if he had the audacity, first and foremost, to go to Will Smith of all people and say, "Can I blow your wife's back out?"
I was just about to drink something.
I think that Will would have been like, "All right, try it if you want to."
Yeah,
so
he's
then
stepping out of line.
probably
In a couple
like,
years.
You know what? He gave me permission. You know.
Damn. What if the permission was like, man, I ain't fucking with her ass no more. I don't care.
That's what it was, D.
That's
I
probably
think
what it
listen,
was.
just make her happy.
Mhm.
Don't do anything disrespectful towards her or whatever. We good. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was like, man, yeah, fuck her. Do that shit. Right? But look, real
Have
quick.
sex with her.
Good. Do a long dick or two when you're doing that. Hit her with the swirl too.
Oh
She likes
my
that.
God.
She likes that.
This goes to Vicky. Talk about the interview, D, since you haven't seen it.
Yes.
I'm watching that interview. The first time I'm watching, I was like, damn, he was fucking with Jada real hard. Because I seen a couple Red Table Talks, and you start to see the therapist out of her, and he was doing the same shit. I said, boy, she brain fucked this young man. Like hardcore. He was speaking like her verbatim damn near, right?
Really?
It's self-therapy and all that. Like you can tell like he was saying he had a new wisdom. Let me provide you with that. He had a new wisdom.
She put that woo-wop on him, huh?
Yeah,
I
mean,
Now who just listen, let me tell you this. Do you know how if I was Jada Pinkett's side piece, weird I would be going to premieres with her? I'd be like, can't we just keep this low? Like just as a side piece should. Like, you know, I appreciate you want to take me out in the streets. Right? I used to have girls that used to tell me when we came.
But they weren't Jada Pinkett, honey.
Oh, no. This is a good point. I'm talking about me. I said what I would do. Listen, I had girls tell me like, daytime, we out in the daytime? Dude, I would have done the same thing. Like, we good. I can stay at the house. The house is beautiful. We don't need to put Will's business out here like that.
That's because you understand the rules of the game.
You're right.
Obviously, this young man don't understand the rules of the game.
I protect the money.
He got in too close. He fell in love, and now he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, thank you, Sid. She put that woo-bop on him. Was like, man, what's up? She put that woo-bop on him. Man,
he goes to bed every night with her on the ceiling, and then like slash marks through Will on his walls everywhere.
The new Fresh Prince, motherfucker.
Only I was 20 years older.
Oh, man.
Now there was some things in Jada's story that I thought was kind of questionable. Now I did support like what she was saying about like where she was like emotionally, because I could see that. I was like, okay, I think that that's what some people were commending them on, is that like it seemed that she was honest about some things, and that Will came and did the interview with her. I thought that was, pretty dope, and that they addressed it, because a lot of times people don't.
Yeah.
Now, her timeline, though, sounds questionable to me, because I have been watching Red Table Talk since it came out. Now, August was in one of, like, the first couple episodes. But they pulled the episode when he stopped dealing with her. So, like, it was like, this happened, like, 4 or 5 years ago. Except Red Table Talk isn't that old.
Nope.
Just 2 years old. 2 years. Exactly. We all caught that, Vicky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's messy. Just a messy heifer.
Because it sounds better to just say that it was years ago as opposed to it being he was just over here for Christmas.
Still dripping.
2019. You know what I mean? Like, it just sounds better to say it like that,
August, why don't you take the picture?
The family picture?
Damn.
Right.
You hang back on this one. You just take it.
And he's still out here as a devout follower of Jada. I mean, if you listen to like his interview for the Breakfast Club,
he's now in love with her.
Oh yeah. I mean, so now he's like doing like documentaries about like, love and his philosophies of life, healing and maintaining.
Because he got that thing. That's why.
So all that stuff she taught him, now he's trying to take to the masses and make him like that kind of person as well. Like now he feels like he's the teacher. So it's crazy. Like,
he was sensei.
It's the epitome of you share that girl.
Oh my God.
Sad. Dog, I'm talking about watching the Fresh Prince videos as a kid. I'm talking about every time the Fresh Prince TV show came on, doing the jump when he steps to the house and sang the song. Dog, I'm talking about Independence Day in high school. This is disrespectful, all right? Thanks. Some things should be left alone, all right? You got Bill Cosby. He was raping. He deserved to go to jail. Will Smith ain't done a damn thing to nobody.
Oh, Will Smith is fine.
I don't know if I can co-sign.
Thank you. I'm just gonna be quiet.
Jail. I said he should have went to jail. But goddamn, we can't have nothing.
You know what got me was the fist bump. So
What did they say? What did they say? It was they did a Bad Boys thing where they said bad marriage for life.
Bad marriage for life.
That sounded toxic, to be honest with you. That sounded toxic. It's like, I get the joke, but it's like, I don't know about that one. When people say they want that marriage, well, first of all, I wouldn't want that marriage, right? I wouldn't want that marriage. That's not, I wouldn't.
It made my stomach hurt just thinking about it. Like, this is too much. You know, like money's one thing, but my heart and my emotions are something else, right? And it's just, it's really heartbreaking to see like how played with and how reduced the sanctity of marriage is. Like, people just don't care about it. You know, and when it's in the Hollywood eye, you would think that they would want to be better examples because they've got such a strong following, right? But they don't care about it either. So I think that's where the sadness comes in. And then when you've got a family who now has to deal with, you know, children who have already had issues to a certain point, right? This doesn't make it any easier for them either. So again, having all that money is good, but how good is it when everything else is kind of broken?
I bet Will Smith fuck with Trey the most right now. Cause he like, Trey never brung no motherfucker in my house like this shit. Damn you, Willow and Jaden. Like, Trey, I fuck with you harder than I fuck with you before, son. You bringing traps up in the crib. But this is another thing that I don't like. Another ramification of this. Then it goes into open marriages in Hollywood. And one that I always try to keep secret out of respect to my elders is Ruby D and Ozzy Davis. Yeah, and that's like yo, you find out something about your grandparents, you be like, shh, don't say that about grandma now. Grandma was a little loose.
Hey, I didn't know they had an open relationship.
Yeah, I knew that years ago that Ruby and Ozzy had an open relationship.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know, she probably was giving Harry Belafonte a little bit of that action.
Hey man, listen, all the ladies love Harry back in the day.
That's right. I'm saying,
man, he won't go home.
Harry Belafonte, he hit that. Believe Harry Belafonte hit that.
Oh my God.
He was a freedom fighter. You know it. Harry Belafonte hit that, man. He hit that, bro. Just keep the same facts. I do. But listen, let me say this real quick.
Well, Vicky's about to say something.
I'm but he was Harry Belafonte and not August Alsina. I'll leave it alone after that.
Very true.
Oh my God.
Harry was everywhere for a minute. That is true. But I feel like, I mean, I do agree with Heather saying that it does kind of like cheapen marriage, in the sense of now everybody's kind of making this joke about like entanglement. You know, now you have like t-shirts everywhere that's like single married entanglement, you know, like those kind of things. You have like new relationship statuses. Somebody made like that was like relationship today entanglement, you know what I mean? And it's sad because people take these lessons and start applying it to their everyday life,
especially in our community. Unfortunately,
we do a bad job of being like, you know what, that's they crazy. I'm not gonna have that crazy. I'll just watch they crazy.
Right.
We start applying it to us like, you know what, I would like some crazy. Like,
it's not that bad.
Well, some of that entanglement,
that bad, right?
Right. That's facts. That's facts, Vicky.
And then you had like some people, what got me was they started bringing other couples into it. So they did that one. There was a meme that was about Alicia Keys and Sweet Beat. It was like, entanglement sometimes work. I was like, no, like that is not the lesson. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just sometimes ridicule things and apply the wrong things to our lives. Right. And that's kind of like like, as much as this is all like hilarious to me on the surface, like that's what bothers me like underneath that.
Great point. That's a really good point. I agree with you. I agree. It's sad that I guess it's because we live in the idiot box. We watch it, but we live in it. And you're right. We start thinking, you know what? That shit ain't that bad. You know what? I'm going to sit there and listen, I don't know what someone's relationship status is. And it's not for me to necessarily, but I do believe in the institution. But when you start to think now, you should probably start breaking down something that you have. And maybe this is too, you know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Maybe also it's just time for people to separate and just be healthy.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like to like really, because in a way, if you want to be out there having sex with some people, then go out there. I mean, if it's that, you need it like that. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's me. I it's not my business if they have a relationship and they can work through those situations. But I think what you said, Vicky, is really important to still piggybacking you out there. People, especially, I don't even want to say just young people. There's gonna be old people in their 40s and 50s, like, you know what, we need to try this. But people breaking a bond that they may not be able to get back, thinking that they can get that bond back by bringing somebody else into their relationship.
Yeah.
As
it
I
doesn't
said,
always work.
yeah, it doesn't always work. As I said, just make sure you just deal with these people on the surface. Don't go too deep. Just make sure you live your life and don't try to live it through anybody else's. That's just my opinion.
Facts.
Well, we definitely appreciate you, Heather and Vicky, for joining us.
Yeah.
Everybody always check out In the Thick Pod. When do y'all usually drop episodes?
We typically drop on Thursdays.
Okay, so look out on Thursday.
Yeah.
Make sure you check them out. We always appreciate it. This was a fun time.
Yes, it was.
For laughing with us. We really appreciate it. We
Yes.
look forward to talking to y'all down the line. Listen,
sure.
you be safe out in Beantown.
Thank you.
As you out handling your business, please be safe. And we definitely appreciate it. Do you got anything you want to say?
No, hey, just make sure everybody check out everybody's handles. We kicked it off at the beginning of the show. Just support and follow.
Thank you.
For sure.
It was always a pleasure, gentlemen.
Yes.